Hello, my name is Ioannis Dizoglou. In this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a secure application by using Visual Basics. To get started, we are going to open Visual Studio 2022, or if you have an earlier Visual Studio version, that's okay, the process is exactly the same. I'm just going to click Create a New Project. I'm going to select from the first drop-down list Visual Basic. From the second drop-down list I'm going to select Windows. And for the third drop-down list, I'm going to select Desktop. Then from this list here, I'm just going to select Windows Forms App.NET Framework and click Next. If I go too fast, you can always pause the video and then you can actually watch this section again and again and again until you get things right. So the name of the project will be Secure App. And I'm just going to click Create. Okay, let's put version 2 because I've got already an app here. Okay, my application is ready. I'm just going to go to the toolbox here. If you cannot see the toolbox here, what you can always do, go to the Windows tab and basically reset the layout, the Windows layout. This will enable you to actually see the toolbox here. I'm just going to click on the little pin to pin my toolbox here, and then I'm going to expand all Windows forms. I'm going to click and drag a button. I'm going to add two labels, one for a username and one for a password. I'm just going to add two text boxes as well, so one for the username and one for the password. Okay, let's place them there. Let's highlight them, put this further up a bit. Let's put out the button here. Let's increase the width. Let's put the button there. Let's highlight this. Oops, and put them a bit further up. Let's reduce the size of the form. Okay, so I've got my form here. With the form selected, I'm just going to change the text value to login. I'm going to select my button here and change the text value to login, and also change the name to read btn login. I'm going to name my label appropriately as well. I'm just going to call this LBL user, and I'm going to change the text value to username. I'm going to select the text box here, and I'm just going to change the name of the text box to txt username. Let's call it user. I'm going to select my next label here. The name will be LBL password, and the text value will be password. I'm going to select my text box here, and I'm just going to call this txt password. It is important to name your objects appropriately to make it easier for you to call them throughout the code. Okay, I've got everything in place now. Let's change the name of the form. Instead of form 1, I'm just going to call this FRM, short for form, login, and press the enter key. Okay. Now I'm going to create a new form, so I'm going to go to Project and add Windows Form. And this new object will be a new form. I'm just going to leave the .vb extension there. I'm just going to call this change password. Let's put FRM here as well. Let's add. Okay. It doesn't have to be that big. So here we are going to add one label to show us the password, one label to add for description. I'm going to add a button to save the new password, and a text box. Okay, here this label will read the text value of this label will be show click here to see the password. Okay, and I'm just gonna name this LBL show password. Okay, this label will read, the name will be LBL change password, and the text value will be add the new password below. Put this, make the text box be bigger. So with the text box selected, I'm just going to change the name to txt change password. Let's put the button there as well. And I'm just going to change the name of the button to btn save password. And let's change the text value as well to save. So the text value is save. Okay, let's reduce the size a little bit. Okay, so the form, the name of the form is FRM change password. Now the next thing we need to do is go to my project here from the Solution Explorer. I'm going to double click my project, click on settings, and I'm just going to add the new settings. So I'm going to say my password. You can do the same for the username as well. You could put username there. I'll let you play around with that. So I'm just going to put the password only here for now. So the value is 123 and set to string, so it will accept any characters, A to Z, special characters as well as numbers. Okay, now that's my temporary password. I'm just going to go back to application here. I'm just going to go back to form 1. And I'm just going to double click here on the login page so I can actually create an if statement. So I will say if txt username user dot text is equals to, let's say, true Greek god, and txt password dot text is equals to, now I need to go to my dot settings dot my password. If that's true, yeah, if the username is a true Greek god and the password is, in this case, is 123, because this is what we store here, then I will say me.hide frm change password dot show. So we hide in the current form and we're showing the change password form. Let's go now to the change password form, and I'm just going to double click on the click here to set to see the password. And here we're going to say LBL show password dot text is equals to, and then we navigate to my dot settings dot my password. Okay, so we're revealing the actual password. Let's go back here now. Let's double click here on the save button. If somebody double clicks on the save button, what we want to do, first of all, we need to check what is the value of the text field. So we'll say my dot settings dot my password is equals to txt change password dot text. So I want to make sure that wherever the txt is contained will actually go to these settings here, and we need to save them. So we'll say my dot settings dot save. Okay. So far, we've done everything we needed to do. Let's put a timer here. So the password will only reveal the password here for 5 seconds. But before I do that, let's select this text box first, and let's go and change the way the password shows. So I'm just going to go to the password char section here on the properties. And I'm just going to put hashes, or you can put an asterisk. Whatever you put, it's going to be replaced by it's going to replace the letters, the text that you're going to put. Okay, let's add a timer now. Let's click and drag a timer. By default, let's select the timer. By default, the timer is disabled. Let's change the interval to 5 seconds. So 5,000 milliseconds equals 5 seconds. So now let's go double click here on the timer. And what we need to put here, we're going to put, instead of actually showing this, the actual password, let's copy that. Let's paste it there. 5 seconds later, we want to show, let's see what text I have here. I forgot what I put here. Click here to show the password. I'm just going to copy this, Control A, Control C to copy. Just going to go to the timer here, Control V to paste. So it's going to go back to the default text. And I need to stop the time here, so we'll say timer 1 dot stop. Now by default it's stopped, so here when we click on this label we want the timer to start, so we'll say timer 1 dot start. Oops. Okay. So when somebody clicks on this label, the timer will start. When the timer starts, it's only going to count for 5 seconds. 5 seconds later, it's going to show this message and it's going to stop the timer. So prior to stopping the timer and showing this message, what the user will be able to see as soon as the timer starts, the user will be able to see this the actual password that's stored on the settings. In our case, this password is, if we go to my project again in settings, my default password is 123. Okay. My username is the true Greek god with capital T, capital G, and capital G there as well. So let's save this project and let's start the project to test it. Okay, we have an error here. Form 1 is not okay. It's not alright. So when we actually rename the form, secure app. Okay, so form 1 we named it as FRM login. Okay, that's why I couldn't find the form 1. Alright. Usually is when you rename the forms, okay, it should actually change this automatically, but there's probably a bug because 2022 version is still new, so there will be a couple bugs. Well, the debugging system is quite good anyway. Alright, let's save again and let's give another go. Okay, so my username is the space true. Oh, did I say that? No, sorry, I said true Greek god, and the password is 123. I will protect this. I'm going to change the text to a hashes or asterisk afterwards. I just left this for now. So if let's put 4 here, nothing will happen. We can actually put a message box there to show to the people that your user and password is incorrect. Try again. So I'm just going to put here 123 now, click login, and now it works. If I click here, I will be able to reveal the password for 5 seconds. 5 seconds later, it should show me the message again. That's good. So now if I actually put the password as 777, I will be able to actually see hashes instead of sevens. I'm going to click save. And because I click save now, if I click here, I will be able to see 777. Now, if I stop the project and I run the project again, and I type here true Greek God, and I'm just going to put here again 1, 2, 3. It shouldn't allow me to log on now. Yeah, that's correct. And if I put here 777, it will allow me to log on because the 777 is the correct password. And if I want to change this again, so if I put 555, if I click here, it will still show 777. This is because I have not clicked save. If I click save and click here now, it should show 555. Let's make the modification, a small modification there to show users the message box if they put the wrong user and password. So we have here a if statement. Let's after this line we're going to put else. So I'm going to say here message box dot show, and then within parentheses and within double quotes, let's put double quotes, shift 2. Please note that your username or password is incorrect. Please try again. Okay. So we have the message here. We're going to save this. Let's run the application again. I'm going to put here true Greek God. I'm going to put an S here, gods. And here I'm going to put 555 because that's my password. So now I received my error message here. I'm just going to remove the S from here. I'm just going to put number 6 here. I receive the message. Okay, if I remove now the 6 from here, it should allow me to log on. Okay, everything is working now. I can see the password. I can change the password. 888. Okay, and I can close and stop the application. I hope you've learned something new today. I hope you will use these new skills of yours to create great applications. Bye for now.